So when we think about old metas in Hypixel Skyblock, you might think of the Raider's Axe or Dragon Armor. Both of these are outdated and quite underwhelming now. Well, sometimes that's not the case. Anyway, before we do get into the video, if you do go on to enjoy the video and you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. We're on the road to 10k, we're trying to get there as quick as we can, and every subscriber helps. Also, you should leave a like on the video. It boosts the video in the algorithm, it helps me out a lot. Sorry for the plugs, but you should also join the Discord server. It's linked in the description, it's always linked, you should also join. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. I hope you all do enjoy. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Holy Grail, a weapon that at one point, pretty much all Hypixel Skyblock players aspired to get. And that weapon is the mighty Midas sword. So if you aren't sure how this weapon works, it's bought from the Dark Auction, and essentially, the more you pay for the weapon, the more damage it adds. Very similar to the way that the Midas staff works, but this came after the sword. So as you can see here, any amount paid over 50 million doesn't add any additional damage, 50 million being the maximum damage cap. In addition to it being maxed out in that sense, it's also recombobulated, withered, Art of War, it's gemstone, it's got one for all, it's fuming potato, it's even got a master star on there. Today we're going to be putting this old meta up against the test of the old faithful Livid Dagger. It will be very interesting to see how the two weapons face up, just purely because the Midas staff in actual terms is way more expensive than the Livid Dagger that I have. So the Midas sword that I'm actually using isn't mine, I'm borrowing it from one of the admins in the Discord server, ZenQ, so thanks for letting me borrow it. So the closest actual Midas sword that I can find to mine would be this one. It doesn't have Art of War and it doesn't have the Master Star on it, but it's 80ml, so let's assume that the one that I've bought will probably sell for about 100ml. In comparison to the Livid Dagger that I have, which is very similar to this one here, which is about 17ml. Actually this one's probably more similar, but it's the same price. So we're going to test the two in terms of damage against each other. We're going to be using Tiger Pet and this Necron set. So let's just see what sort of damage we're doing with the Livid Dagger to start off with. If we can just get a normal hit please, that would be really nice. 170k. Now if we use our Midas sword, let's see what sort of damage we do with it. 213k, so that's quite a sizable increase. Obviously you have to consider with the Livid Dagger, it has the back hit capability which does double damage. It gives you 100% bonus attack speed and 100% crit chance. Obviously most people will already have both of those, but it's a nice added extra. Now in reality this weapon is way too expensive. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does quite good damage for what it is, and considering it's quite an old weapon and obviously it's quite outdated, but really can't complain with that. So at the moment it does have one for all on the weapon, meaning that pretty much any sort of damage outside of dungeons is going to be fairly consistent. So that means we should really try it inside dungeons and see how it fares. Okay, so I think I am actually lagging quite a lot at the moment, but I'm just trying to get some sort of damage test and see how much sort of damage we're doing. Can't even tell, to be honest, it's literally so laggy. 3.1 mil, okay, that's 4.1 mil. Let's see if we can do any more damage. This is using the Livid Dagger, by the way. Okay, I'm actually going to die. Okay, we'll pretend we don't see this. So we'll now do a damage test with the Midas sword to see what we're doing here. So 2.6, 2.7. Let's see how quickly it can take this out. It's very laggy. Very, very laggy. You know, it's not too good. Let's try again to see if we can actually just get a sort of figure. 4.7, 4.8. It's very, to me, it's very similar to the Livid Dagger, and for the price difference, yeah, it's questionable. So what I'd say overall is that the Midas sword is still pretty good, to be honest. I mean, obviously it's still going to be overlooked, and it's way too expensive for what it is. But outside of dungeons, it still does a decent amount of damage. It still out damages the Livid Dagger on a regular hit, and it'd definitely give the Shadow Fury a run for its money in the one hit damage. Nevertheless, within dungeons, to be honest, it's just very similar to the Livid Dagger. I can't really tell them apart in terms of damage. They're both, to be honest, for one for all weapons, quite inconsistent. As you would imagine within dungeons, they scale slightly differently. So, you know, it's not bad, like I said, it's just not worth it. But it's still quite cool to see a weapon like that doing that much damage. Anyway, this is going to be just about the end of the video. I hope you all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.